Dino Nino 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 Burner 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 Nino Nino Burner Nino Nino Burner Nino Nino Nino. It's the Villains Talk Show right now! With CE4 and Sarah Vike and Insanieac, dear Jeremy and Great Grease Goblin. Hello and welcome to the Villains Talk Show. I am C4. Beside me is Sarah Vike. Further down, and for the first time in a long time, is Insanieac. Below me is the Great Grease Goblin, and forever away in cyberspace to soon form a body, perhaps one day, Sir Jeremy. And we are the villains of the Villains Talk Show, where we talk about random things and talk about things, and that's pretty much, that's pretty much it. We talk about things that we talk about all the time.
Things and stuff.
Wow.
I make chicks and stuff.
And
we don't talk about the stuff.
Yes, exactly. And
I don't talk about the things.
yeah, happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. Not that anyone out there in cyberspace cares, but I just had a 13-hour day, so here I am. Woohoo! And but today someone's mic is getting staticky again. Insaniac.
Oh, he's dying.
Dying! So, Insaniac just moved. I believe it was 3 times. So because of that, he's still trying to figure out his sound settings. But
With us, I troubleshoot.
for anyone who has the ability to read English, which I assume is my whole audience, because you're all extremely intelligent people, and I have full faith in you, and that is not sarcastic.
And you're listening to us when we speak in English?
Yes,
I all of the English.
Yes, all the English. Today we're talking about moving is a bitch. I think we can all relate to that. Moving is a bitch.
It is.
Insaniac, you need to get that mic under control. That thing is
I'm working on it.
That
sir.
thing is wild.
It's I don't know. I just disabled the thing. All right. Well.
Just go. You might just have to go push to talk, bud. Sad.
Yeah,
news.
I did.
Yeah, I think that's the best plan.
But it's okay. You're going to be telling us a lot about moving across the country and across the province in the middle of COVID, because I've never done that, thank God. But I have definitely moved into my current apartment, which is, 3 floors without an elevator and all the stuff.
Oh.
I moved across the country 3 times.
Yes.
After recounting in my head.
Oh, I mentioned that. And
I don't mean just in this. I mean literally across the country 3 times. On top of the 3 times I've moved in this past couple of months.
I can't say I've done that.
Sounds about right.
But there was a year I did 4 different moves. None of them were mine.
Wow.
I had to move my parents to their new place. I moved my girlfriend at the time to her new place. I moved my one friend to his new place. And then at the end of the year, I moved my that same friend to another new place. And I remember saying to myself, God, I fucking hate moving.
Moved so much, like pretty much all of my life.
Oh, that's both sad. And we'll get into that in just a second. The other topic, if we should have time, is very, 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 very ambiguous. Assholes are a bitch. Now, what does that mean? Well,
Should be the topic of our chat tonight. All the bitches.
Pretty much. And now don't get me wrong. I don't use bitch to disparage women in any way. When I think of a bitch, I think of a female dog, which is just the French word for it. And if you know what I mean by female dog, I think of French poodle that doesn't shut up. I just hate it. 'Cause it's just not shutting up. Anyway, that being said, so let's do we jump in with Insaniac? I haven't seen his face. I want him to chat. I want to see his mouth move. Those sweet lips.
He's posting in the background.
It's true. All we've had to look at is Andrew. His mouth doesn't move.
Make those lips move
I mean,
for me, baby.
it does make voices though if you have me connected sometimes.
He makes voices, but his mouth doesn't move. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, I need those lips. It's been so long.
It's glorious lips.
And the eyes too. Your eyes like blink. They're alive. His don't.
No,
Wait, what?
but
They do?
I guess Jeremy would know better than any of us. He probably stares at it all the time.
Like, really
It doesn't blink though. That would be creepy.
and now no one in the audience has no idea what we're talking about. So,
That's cool.
one day you will. One day we will show the world Standrew. But you have to get the app first, likeness.com. That being said, so yes, Standrew, aka Insanieac, just moved to Kingston, as we were told, and you can see how beautifully set up everything is. I believe you said you just got in today.
Just got in today.
So
Just got my computer set up like a couple hours ago.
So let's start with the fun question. It's not just that you moved across the country to where you are now. It's you did it
For
during,
the third time.
you did it during COVID. So tell me how much fun that was.
Actually, not that bad.
Oh,
It's not much of a twist, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, we moved in July, and nothing was different than usual.
Things are still open. I used a trailer that I towed. So, not really much of a change.
and Jeremy moved too. How?
I'm about to move again too.
So
Yeah.
the only two
February
people
last
who
year.
haven't moved this year is me and Grease Goblin.
I technically moved in 2020.
Back.
See, just you.
Where did you?
Apparently, you're the most
Oh.
stable of all of us.
Where'd you move from?
From my old apartment back with my parents.
I
My
can-
parents took the apartment.
I'm going to
Really?
say this now, and nothing to be mean to you. This is not towards you at all. But I just wanted to say, because both my sisters are both highly educated, or have careers, and they both moved in with their parents at some point after, or back with their parents after they moved out. I, who has a university degree and who's worked menial jobs my whole life, have never moved back home. How many people
sad
can
too.
raise their hand and say
To
that?
this place. I haven't.
I can.
Yeah.
Nice.
I almost did.
I'm impressed.
Almost.
I've only moved back home once after high school, and I lived.
I
there
got
for
married and moved in
6
with my
months.
husband and have never moved back in, so with my parents, so.
Just because of recent circumstances, I had to find a place pretty quick. If I didn't get this place, I would have been going back home.
I guess I did move in with my husband's parents for a while. That might count.
That counts. Step parents count. You moved in with your husband's parents.
I will tell the whole story later. Let's listen to Insanieac first. There is quite the story about that.
Oh, we plan to. We're gonna come back, but please tell us about some adventures in moving though. Like I mean, everyone knows. Like, if I can just curve this entire conversation a little, the reason I wanted to talk about moving is there's so much that's a bitch in moving. Like, and that you don't fucking think about until you start moving.
I had my grandma's china. I had to move my grandma's china. That was terrifying.
See? But yes, so I can only imagine.
One of the kind of things for like my move during COVID, I guess, was my original intent for the move was supposed to be a boys' weekend of sorts. I was planning to have 4 people, including Sir Jeremy, come with me on the trip out here and have a camping trip of sorts on the way out to the move. That got completely shut down by COVID because nobody could afford to go. And one person I had to pay to help me so his wife would let him go because there's problems in that paradise.
Fuck, I wish I had known, bud. I would have taken you.
I managed to go. It was an adventure.
I
I
would
got
have
to do lots of road camping.
I would
A
have
little bit of road
postponed my
camping.
vacation to go out east. That would have been fun.
Yeah, it was all right. Everything it was actually not bad, except for the one time we got stopped by a cop because we broke too hard behind him. That's a thing you get pulled over for.
What?
Sounds about right.
Ridiculous.
Isn't that like dangerous driving?
It is.
Reckless endangerment.
Well, it depends on the reason for it, really.
I'd say in time, but the cop moved out of the way because he was paranoid or afraid of the moving truck coming behind him.
Ah. Wait, you took a
He also
truck?
pulled us over in the middle of a construction bridge. Pretty dangerous.
I'm guessing you took a
I just think
U-Haul
this guy
then.
had nothing better to do.
Where was this? In Manitoba? It sounds Manitoba.
I think it was just as after we passed Kenora, or just before,
Oh, never mind.
in Ontario.
Ugh. Oh, I'm surprised you didn't get the
the
U-Haul
edge of
taken
Ontario.
away.
They wanted. They were saying there was like some suspicious shit going on. I'm like, dude, I'm moving. Like, do you want me to open the truck and show you like literally everything in my fucking house? Like, I can.
Yeah, but then they would have taken the dogs and they would have pulled everything out. And they would have
Yeah, and I would have told them to put it back in.
No, they wouldn't.
And,
Are you
and they
kidding me?
won't.
Are you
Yeah.
They
kidding
leave
me?
you on the side of the road.
But I would. That's
Do
hilarious.
nothing. Yeah, you get real mad, and they would do nothing.
Yep. They would look and be like, yeah, we'll totally put it back as they get in their police car and drive away.
Yeah. That's a
So
case
it's
of like,
game-
they believe
the
there's
whole
like drugs in your wheels and stuff. They'll leave you on
and
bricks.
everyone's not waiting for me to load slowly, one piece after a time.
But it's
That's
OPP,
unfortunate.
right? That means you met with the OPP.
I did.
Oh, the one thing I know about going out to Ontario a lot, bro, is you can deal with the TPD. You know, the TPD are not bad, and the RCMP are actually pretty nice. But don't fuck with the OPP. They are not
The
nice
funniest
people.
thing was the people that came afterwards who had the biggest shit-eating grin on their life because they realized that this moron pulled somebody over for braking too hard, and they just finished telling them my fucking life story. And they're like, yeah, he's moving. What suspicious thing do you think is fucking going on here, dude? It's a U-Haul. The dude asking for registration on a rental. I'll get my registration right away, sir. Here's the rental agreement.
You know what? It's because you look like a meth dealer, and they probably thought you were moving your meth business in Ontario. And if you had said yes, they probably would have given you a welcome package. Oh,
It was
yeah.
more because okay, my other driver had previous issues from past problems, and that's kind of what like caused some extra like debate and like lengthy decision.
He had a criminal record.
Yeah, he's
What?
a mover.
Interesting.
Some movers do.
He's a mover with a criminal record? You're kidding me.
Some
Hold
poor
up the
guy.
Texas.
I'm shocked.
Not possible.
Just dead shocked right now.
Yeah.
Really? It's almost like telling me a drywaller doesn't get drunk every day after they do their piecework. That's...
What? No.
I know.
Correctable.
What? What drywallers do you know?
The funniest thing for me, like for getting ready for the move, I had an old like portable kind of grill that my dad gave me. It wasn't really bad. I'd spent the entire time before the move cleaning this thing up, making it fucking silver and spotless. And not to say this in an ungrateful way, but my dad got me a new one right after, completely new, fresh, really great. But I just spent all that time cleaning this disgusting rusty bastard for
Yeah.
absolutely nothing.
Sounds about right.
I was happy, but the irony did not escape me.
Part of me hopes he did it on purpose.
I would if he did to me. I had to finish cleaning it up, and he got me a new one.
Work!
I just gave it to the other driver so he could use it on the way back.
Oh.
Nice.
That's genius. I'm gonna remember that when I have kids. This old rusty piece of equipment and say, here, clean this, you can have that, and then buy them a new one.
I had made that shit spotless, dude. Like, it was rusty and charcoal and, like, bad.
At least he made you
Genius.
earn the new one, right?
Absolute gold.
Yeah, I guessed.
Absolute gold.
It kind of was. It's, like, physically handed to me.
So you got to Ontario after that move. And then, so now, how did you get to where you are now? You have a car, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so I ended up getting a vehicle when I moved to a place with it was family, distant relation, and we ended up having other issues and stuff, so I moved to with other family for a brief amount of time.
You didn't
They
see
helped
eye
me
to
kind of
eye.
figure things out to get to this place.
Mm-hmm. There are family members I definitely do not see eye to eye with.
Unfortunate because
that never
things
happened.
were very good for a little while, and then, I don't know, discussions went awry, and it happens, you know.
It happens.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
But
It's family. I mean,
moving up to new and better places and spaces, I guess.
I mean, now you're on your own. You're in a beautiful basement apartment.
I really don't like that mirror. I'm gonna be honest.
That's a mirror?
It looks like a window. Oh, I thought
That was
a
a
window.
window.
It's totally a mirror.
That is a large mirror.
That was
Oh, I don't like it.
massive.
Why is it there?
Why do you have it?
Mine. The tape was here.
Well, they give it back to the landlord.
A number of things that were in here when I came in.
Just,
But,
just
like-
give it to the landlord.
I personally don't like mirrors to be often, aside from in the bathroom.
Oh, you're
But-
gorgeous.
Like-
Oh, come on, you're beautiful.
We have
That's
standards.
why.
for people.
See, I grew up. This will lead into another story. I grew up in what some would call a haunted house, and we had my parents were the greatest when they thought about placement of mirrors in our place. So down a long strip of hallway where our bedrooms were, to go upstairs, they decided to place a fucking mirror at the end of that hall. So as you walk towards the stairs, you get to see everything fucking behind you as you walk.
That's
And you
amazing.
get to stare at yourself.
Great.
It's genius. Please
Fucking
go on.
nightmarish.
I would do that.
Things, weird stuff you'd see in the reflection. Not fun. Not
Yeah, I
fun.
believe that. Ooh.
Were you doing drugs?
Nightmare inducing. I was 6.
Same question.
Sounds like you were doing drugs.
Sounds like you
It
do
just
drugs.
sounds like
We all do
excuses.
drugs.
It's the likeness.
Well,
Yes,
it's
but it
Let's be
sounds
honest.
like you were doing drugs
that's
there.
a face on drugs. That looks like a
Insaniac.
face on drugs. Does that not look like a face on drugs?
Never.
The likeness? Hey. We
That
all
looks like a face on
bow
drugs.
to the likeness. This is why you go like. This is why you get the app.
Open the eyes there.
Right here.
It's like
This is why you get the app.
It's true.
www.likeness.com.
It's like
Get one of these for yourself.
face. Totally.
That being said. Oh no, my camera.
Oh no!
But yeah,
Like
no.
that mirror.
So you're gonna get rid of it. You could easily call your landlord, but you're gonna make it difficult.
I've thought of one place that likes to move it in the place that I might move it to,
So you're gonna make it
but
difficult.
we'll see.
Good to know.
I'm not just rearranging shit. Like
Besides,
this
just
desk I'm using right now was here when I got here, thankfully.
well, I'm not saying give back everything, but if you,
If there's something like a mirror that you really don't like,
this is funny
Sounds like
because
you should become my interior designer.
everywhere I've moved to, I have to take everything. Like fully. Every time I've moved, I've never been allowed to leave a fucking drop of anything.
Yeah, so the landlord has told me apparently as people have left, they've left things, so they just haven't taken them away.
weird.
There was a bed before.
Yeah.
That's my bed. There's a bed before that I was like, I don't need it because
Yeah, no, that bed, that you know who needs that bed? The dumpster. Needs
that was
it
my thought,
really
to be
bad.
honest.
Needs it really bad.
You're going to get rid of the tires.
There's also a dresser. There's this little kitchen table, just, other useful furniture. But
Well, I mean-
the bed was like, nope.
But seriously though, like I've
Even
never
this chair.
dude.
Even this chair. I have a better chair, but this is the one I'm using right now because I couldn't put my other one together.
Like when I moved out of my the basement apartment I was in, like oh god, I have so many horror stories from that apartment. Like so this is kind of a so it started in Thanksgiving, the about 6 months before I moved out. I woke up Thanksgiving morning, Canadian Thanksgiving, so October, and the boiler blew. Imagine being in your bed at 7 in the morning on a Sunday, and all you hear is a loud fucking explosion, and then you hear rushing water. And I got up, and all I see is water pouring out of my closet. I found out that day the boiler was right beside my closet. It blew, and it didn't blow through the top, it just blew out, and blew out the walls. So there's water everywhere.
Sounds bad.
And
I have,
my landlord gets
furnace
it
next to my
replaced.
room.
Wait. So my landlord gets it replaced and everything's fine. But I notice all along my walls in my room, black mold. And I take pictures of it. And I keep calling my landlord every week. And I start emailing him, telling him like, dude, you have to do something about this. Eventually I move out, right? And I don't know how it works in other places, but in Alberta or in Calgary, where I am, they have to give you back your damage deposit unless they make a claim against it. So your damage deposit, mine was so much money, and I was asking for it back. And my landlord decided to be a bitch and told me he's keeping it and he's taking me to court for $5,000 to replace the walls. And I calmly called up my lawyer, which if you don't have one, everyone should have one. I called up my lawyer and I submitted the documentation and said, please, I'll pay you the $100. Just send him a nice note. And he did, with all the documentation saying like, yeah, we'll see you in court. And I got my grand back. I got my $1,000 back. The guy tried to fleece me for like another $6,000 so listen, remember kids, always keep documentation of everything you do at a rental place.
Yeah.
Always.
There's a few things that I've needed to take pictures of around here myself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
do it.
those are and yes, because that exact thing will happen. If you have no proof, you are not able to defend yourself. The other thing is, here's a piece of knowledge for everyone who moves out in Canada. I don't know about United States, don't quote me down there. But in Canada, if you pay a deposit, the landlord has to legally put the deposit in a tax-free savings account. They then also legally have to pay you the dividend that comes from that deposit every year. If they do not, then they have to give you the total at the end of your term of your lease. The only way they can get around that is if it says in your lease agreement that they do not have to pay you that dividend.
I never knew that, to be honest.
They
I
have
knew
to.
that.
They
I
have
looked into that a while ago, and
My last landlord didn't do that.
lot of
there's
landlords
something
don't.
about it. It doesn't really exist anymore. That used to be the case, but it's
No, it still exists.
I don't know. I don't remember the exact way that it is, but
It's still
you are very likely going to get nothing now.
look, if you stay at a place for the average of 2 to 3 years, yes, you'll get very little, only be cents on the dollar. But if you stay at a place for, let's say, like you rent a condo for like 20 years, eventually those yearly dividends will be almost as close to your actual deposit. It's
My
ridiculous.
last place I was at for 5 years.
Yeah. So and that's a legal obligation, and a lot of landlords get around it because people don't know their rights when they move.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
To be honest, I didn't know that.
A lot of people don't. And I don't know how the
That's
States
similar
is,
to my
unfortunately.
issue. My furnace is right next to my room, and I got to hear it as I started up, and I could as I walked into the storage room, it was smelling of gas from the furnace going like, and it's bad, but it's just like, not gonna be in that room most of the time.
Make sure you have a carbon monoxide detector.
Holy shit, yeah.
There's actually two in throughout. There's one in this room and one in the next room too.
Oh,
Oh, well, that's
So
good.
there's also fire extinguisher, which is good to know.
dude. Fuck. Okay. All right, so
I'm gonna be plus two. One place I used to, when I was with my parents, when I came back to Alberta with my dad the second time I moved across Canada.
Mhm.
The second place we got was in like Marlborough area, and before we left, they were re-gyprocking and doing some other things. And as they tore up the walls from my room, the walls in my room were completely covered in black mold from the window, all underneath the window, all around the fucking room where I had my bed and my dresser and everything. And like, as my dad saw it, he's like, give me that for a second, and he just went across the entire wall and just tore everything up. And he's like, what the fuck is all of this?
that's fucked.
Yeah,
But
my
that
dad was
gives
not
me a
happy.
great idea. So just to get an opinion, something from everyone. You don't have to have moved there, because the place I'm gonna pick, I never actually moved into. But what is the worst landlord and or place you ever saw? Like, did a viewing of or stayed in? We'll start with Sir Jeremy, down there. What is the worst place that you've ever actually, like, you looked at and you're like, who the fuck would live here?
So when me and my ex were first originally looking at a place, we
Mhm.
went and looked at this. It was supposed to be a split, like he lived upstairs, and there was supposed to be a whole like full basement, right? And we go check this out, and it was like the bedroom was like a half living room. It was tiny. It was like a closet. The kitchen was the shittiest handcrafted table I've ever seen with 2 benches, and the sink was completely exposed, hanging out of the wall. And the area, I think, I don't know, it was like
What?
maybe 50 square feet. Like, it was tiny. The whole place felt like a bedroom.
What did he want
Wow.
for? What did they want for it?
800.
What?
Yeah, he was asking 800 for that, and it was like, are you fucking kidding
I would have
me?
laughed at his face right there, like dead in his face. I would be like, "Ha, no! Are you fucking kidding me? This place is a wreck. I'll give you 400, and even then, I'll want
it
my
wasn't-
fucking."
It wasn't even worth 400. It was so bad.
Fuck, that's amazing. That's a good
It was
start.
like it was like the basement of a duplex, basically.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
that's amazing.
So tiny. That was dumb.
That's so ridiculous. All right, let's move over. My favorite Goblin.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, when my ex and I were
Beautiful
originally
hair,
looking
by
to
the
move
way.
out of the place, what?
Beautiful hair, gorgeous hair.
Oh, thank you. But yeah,
So
when my ex and I were originally looking for a new place, I went to look at a place by myself. It was, Dickens?
The pub?
Which
Yeah.
one? There's two.
Yeah, I worked
Yeah.
where we worked.
There's two.
No, not Dixon's. Dickens.
Yeah.
On the Crackmans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's right by my house.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was looking
Yeah.
at the apartment right across the street. The suite they showed me was. I couldn't even call it a suite. It was all closets.
So I like super last immediately.
Like the kitchen was inside a little room. There was a closet. There was a little closet in the bedroom. The bedroom was a closet.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive.
I actually know exactly what you're talking about.
1100.
Lived the
What
life
did
of
you-
Harry Potter.
They wanted like 1100,
Oh,
What?
dude, it's ridiculous.
but all closets.
Oh my goodness.
And they were advertising it as a 2-bedroom.
Was there even a second bedroom?
Yeah, it was also a
Here's
closet.
another
Yeah, it was
question.
underneath. It was underneath the stairwell.
It was the Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, no. Needless to say, we did not move into that one.
Fair.
Let's move across the board to Miss Vike. Actually, it'd be Mrs. Vike, wouldn't it?
It is Mrs. Vike. Yes,
It'd
I'm
be
very
Mrs.
married.
Vike. Sorry, Mrs. Vike.
The worst place I've probably ever seen was probably the place we lived in close to where you live now, John. For the most part, it wasn't that bad. It was a basement suite too. It was 2 bedrooms and like it was a good size.
I could be honest. I actually liked that place. I didn't like
There
your
were-
neighbors. Your neighbors were
For the most-
horrible.
For the most part, it was great, but I think the biggest problem was just that the landlord really sucked.
That's
She
true.
didn't do anything. So like every year, there was a shared laundry room between the upstairs and the basement, and it was like right next to our door into our suite. And every spring it would flood. There was a drain in there, and that drain would flood every spring. And she would just always ignore it until like it was a huge problem. And one year, the last year we lived there, she ignored it for a month. So everything was flooded. We couldn't use the water in our kitchen or in the laundry room. Our bathroom was fine, thank goodness. But like we had to wash our dishes in our tiny bathroom sink. And our bathroom itself was a nightmare. It was tiny and kind of scary. And our shower was more like a tiny little cell than anything else. It was very dark and creepy and
Sounds
old.
like my bathroom, to be honest.
And a couple of
Very small.
the window in one of the bedrooms didn't open. We didn't discover that for a long time, but yeah, it did not open. Other than that, it was fine. But it just, if she had dealt with things when they happened, it would have been really nice.
I could
She also
see
left
that.
the upstairs neighbors without power, like without electricity in half their house for, I think it was 3 or 4 days, including in their kitchen, because she was too busy babysitting her grandkids. to deal with it.
So what you're saying is it wasn't more the place that was staying was hell, it was the landlord of hell.
The place had a few problems, but the landlord
Was horrible. That's too bad. I was
Other
going to
than
say...
that, I looked at pretty decent places. There was one place that I looked at when we were moving up to Red Deer that was a little... The place itself was fine, but the neighborhood was super sketchy.
Yeah, because Red Deer.
It was the bad part of Red Deer, too.
I mean, anyone in our chat knows those towns and cities where they are. Those ones that you just stay... Like, if you... Like, you just know it right away. Like, if you're from Seattle...
We lived in Red Deer, though. Like, we lived in a nice place in Red Deer, and in a nice neighborhood. Just, that one was not great. No,
I'm sorry.
You saw it, Sean. Goodness
I did.
Gracious.
I did see it. Yeah.
It was actually pretty nice. It was also 30 seconds from the highway, which is probably why it was nice.
I mean...
It wasn't in the middle of town.
Still in Red Deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was your first mistake.
I actually really liked it. It's a nice city.
You might as well move
Just
to
close.
Lethbridge.
No. Wrong.
Lethbridge is actually
Wrong.
a nice
My
city.
whole family was from Red Deer, and they've all one by one left. There's a reason for that.
And
It's when
Brandon...
they all got success. I might remind you too. It's when they got successful. They left.
I liked it. I just thought it was pretty. Lots of nice walking paths, and there's like several forests in the middle of the city. It's quite nice.
That's good.
Yeah,
oh,
but
what
all
is
the
that?
houses
Oh,
look
look!
like they've been designed
It's
by
another...
meth addicts.
Oh, look!
Yeah,
What's that in the forest?
weird.
Oh, it's a deer. It's a moose. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's just another meth lab. Oh,
Yeah.
what's over there? Oh, it's
What's
some
those?
more ducks and trees. And oh, look, another meth lab. And oh, what's over here? Oh, it's a whole street of meth labs. Oh, how pretty. How quaint.
Okay,
What's that?
finish asking- finish
What's that
asking
smell in
everyone-
the air? It smells like burning chemicals
Oh.
being turned into a solid form.
Finish asking everyone this question, and then I'll tell you about moving to Red Deer and what was so terrible about it. The move, not Red Deer. Like I said, I quite liked Red Deer.
Okay.
So,
Reminds me of
ask
something
Andrew
I
the worst
found
place he's
on the
seen.
walls.
Well, I mean, that one place was pretty bad, but I've only had lived on my own in a few handful of places to some degree. But my first roommate experience was not really the best because we were staying at apartment buildings at the end of one of the train lines to the south, and they're owned by a number of different realtor companies. One of them was this Asian company. The people seemed alright, to be honest. Like the company that they worked for,
Mhm.
but when we ended up having like a flooding from one of the upstairs apartments, this lady fucking clogged her toilet and just left, and it just kept going. So my bathroom starts leaking. Apparently the damage was so bad it even went into the arcade and had like fucking water everywhere. Like they had to repair it quite a bit. But their idea to help us out was to give us a new location to stay across the fucking city, like literally opposite fucking corner. And I'm like, no, because the reason I'm living here is because my job is 10 minutes away. So unless you guys want to pay for my transportation every day, I'm not gonna happen. Like, and then they didn't do anything. Like they didn't reduce our rent or anything while we were there. While we had Jip Rock dudes coming in and redoing our walls, redoing the carpets, like, and I had to listen to these giant fucking industrial fans for quite a while because like this lady flooded the whole fucking place. It was
Oh,
just such a pain in the ass, man. Like
That's
I
right.
had never had such a bad experience.
I guess to cap off, I never got to go to this place, thank God. Actually, I have two places. One of them I didn't actually go see, but I'll tell you about two places I'd never lived. One I actually went to go see. It was up north in the city. The guy was asking $1,200 for it. It was 2-bedroom. The way the place worked, I wish if I could paint this with your mind. It was a basement suite. You go down the stairs, and the whole right wall is just a wall. So you come out and turn left. And when you turn left, you see the kitchen immediately on your left in an inlet, and the living room. And then you keep going to the left around the kitchen, and there's a door there. You open the door, that's a bedroom. You open another door on the other side of that bedroom, It's the only bathroom. You
Oh.
open that door, on the other side of the bathroom is the other bedroom.
You gotta be real close to live in that house.
And the guy wanted $1,200 for it.
Yeah, no.
And I remember looking at him, and I was like, "Really, bud?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, you know, you were one of your friends, sleep there, and just share the bathroom." I'm like, "Yeah, so I love that, you know, people get to walk through my bedroom if I have my bedroom out in the living room or here, because seems like a great idea. You know, seems fantastic."
It actually feels like it would be better to have the living room be a bedroom.
It
And
just
then
it was
use
just
the first
no.
bedroom as a living room.
The other one that I went to, this is funny. I went to a house once. I'm not going to say any names or what I was doing there, but the people I were there with were doing some stuff, and I go in this house, and it's a regular house, and there's like 3 people living there, and there's this old guy who's just working in the basement, and it's 1 in the morning. It's 1 in the morning, and I'm wondering what the fuck is going on here. And eventually, I learned later that the 3 people that were fighting, they paid rent to that old guy who lived in the garage. And I was like, what? And I found out later that the way the house was, because it's only a 1-story house. So the living room, the kitchen, and the bedroom were all rooms. They were actually separated to be bedrooms. And then this guy, the landlord, lived in the garage.
Jeez.
Yep.
The kitchen was a bedroom?
Wow.
Yep. All I did was stand in the hallway. I walked 2 steps into this place, and it was just filthy. And I'm like, no, I have more respect than this. And I remember thinking to myself, because I wanted to have a smoke, I was going to go outside and have a smoke. But I looked around at the state of this place, and I honestly said to myself, fuck that. And I just lit my smoke right in their fucking house. Well, I think one guy came up to me and asked me what I'm doing. I just kind of looked at him and just kept smoking. Didn't even bother me.
Yeah.
But it was the worst 10 minutes. I remember just thinking to myself and telling my buddies, like, we're never going back there. Like, you never take me back there. If you have to go back there, you drop me the fuck off. That place is dirt incarnate. I have more self-respect than that.
Kitchen was a
Pretty
bedroom.
good question for
Kitchen
everyone.
was a bedroom. But
What's your
yes,
question?
What's the worst thing you've found in your walls when you've moved?
I haven't found much. There were socks stuffed into the vent right underneath this desk.
I found Western black widows.
Oh.
the
A
spiders.
whole nest.
Oh, it's not too bad.
I do have another story for.
Okay, those are pretty
That place.
poisonous.
Yeah.
Super venomous.
Well, I'll let you go in a second, Insanieac. I'm just trying to think. What's the worst thing I ever found on the walls? That's a good question. The worst thing I found in an apartment. Well, I didn't really find it. My cat did. My cat doesn't eat live things. She just likes to play with them and tear them apart. And so that when I get home, it's a bloody mess everywhere. And she's just covered in blood and hasn't eaten any of it. And I found out there was a whole family of mice in one of the apartments I was in. Didn't know they were there. Weren't there when I got home. They were there, they were there, and there were some of them over there, there's pieces of them over there. And there's my cat literally laying in the middle of this massacre. Hasn't eaten any of it, and just laying there. Just looks at me. Someone had a fun day.
Aw.
Yes, please insane.
One of the bad ones that my dad more witnessed than I did. When I first got back to Alberta, we ended up staying in Forest Lawn because it's the only kind of place we could find at the time, and that would lasted for about a week.
Makes sense.
Within the second night, it was bad enough our downstairs neighbors, we could hear my dad could hear him having sex all the time.
Alright, sounds like a great house.
Night, our neighbors, well, apparently it was a gang of Africans. and they got attacked by a gang of Muslims. And I don't mean like
Yeah, they're just rival
they got
gangs.
shit or anything.
They're rival
But they were
gangs.
fighting,
Yeah.
and
They were rival
So-
gangs.
one of the nights, apparently somebody got thrown through one of their windows, like quite literally thrown through one of their windows, and there was like an ambulance called and a bunch of shit. And the next door neighbor, for over an hour, was sitting, opening and closing his blinds, just peering through the fucking window. My dad could hear like the fucking for over an hour. It was the weirdest fucking place. My dad's like, we gotta go. We can't be here anymore.
Your dad sounds like he had a choice to either get out of there or become Clint Eastwood from Gran Torino. I'm kind of sad
That's
he
probably
didn't
the
choose the
one
latter. Really sad he
My dad was
didn't.
also making too, so he probably would have, gotten his old Gran Torino.
Sit out there on his porch with a shotgun like Clint Eastwood. Make my day.
Yeah, probably. I got cops stopped me once while I was there because I was using somebody's Wi-Fi, and I was just kind of sitting on the curb, and the guy's like, "You stealing Wi-Fi?" Like when he was asking me, and I'm like, "It's Wi-Fi. It's free. Like you don't steal it. I don't know what you had." And he just gave me a weird look, and then she kept driving. I'm like, "What?"
I think
So fucking
you
weird.
blew that cop's mind. I think she probably stood there and she's like, "What, you stealing Wi-Fi?" And he's like, "It's free, like it's everywhere." And she just went like, probably thought back and just like, "My God, he's right."
I was so confused.
Stories
I was
like
just
that
sitting on the
before
curb
us.
on my phone, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm just using Wi-Fi." And they're like, "Oh, you're stealing Wi-Fi?" And I'm like, "No, it's free. It's Wi-Fi. Like
One of the
it's."
sorry,
That was the end of my story, to be honest. So
one of the funnest moves I've ever done is my buddies when we were in high school. Like I've said a couple times, they all moved into one house, and it turned out the landlord, when they were getting kicked out, the reason they were getting kicked out is because landlord sold the house and they were going to demolish it. So we talked to the landlord. We were always cool with him, and we talked to him. We're like, "So what does that mean?" And he's like, "As long as it doesn't burn down, it's already sold. You can just, yeah." So he tells us that. We empty the house, and we have one of the greatest parties I've ever had in my life. Because a bunch of our friends were construction. So the way the party starts is you walk in, you bring your own booze, you bring your own liquor, and we hand you a sledgehammer. And we had 100 people in this 2-level house. And it was amazing. It was one of the most fun parties I've ever had in my goddamn life.
for people swinging huge ass hammers,
Mashing the shit out. And the best... Okay, if I can frame this better so people understand. By this time, we had been in this house for like 3 years. So all the neighbors knew us. And we were very kind. So, like, we had one set of neighbors. Literally, our direct neighbors was this family with these 2 young girls. So we'd tell them that day, like, we're going to have a huge party tonight. We're going to be loud. And they'd be like, okay, we'll move our daughters to the other side, so it's fine. You guys have a good night. And then we'd always buy all our neighbors liquor. So any neighbor that was in earshot of our music, because we were loud, we'd always go to their house. Literally, we'd go up and down the blocks and give them bottles of liquor. It helped that our buddy's dad. It helped that our buddy's dad owned a liquor store, so it could get cheap liquor.
That's good, yeah.
So once we did that, we had this rager, and what made it amazing is some of the neighbors, like the young couple I had mentioned earlier, came over, and we handed them sledgehammers, and it was honestly the most fun I've ever had at a party. And we called it the moving out party. What a better way to move out than literally trash the shit out of a condemned house. It was fucking amazing. I've never had more fun. But yeah, just I had to say, it's one of my favorite moves. Although it wasn't really a move, it was a party after a move. Because the move was just a move, but
Yeah.
one of my favorite parties. That being said,
Do you want to hear about our terrible move to Red Deer?
Oh yeah, totally. Please
It was
feed
the Calgary part that was terrible, not the Red Deer part. That one actually went pretty well.
Feed me, Seymour. Feed me.
So we were living in that basement suite where the landlord just did nothing. And remember, I mentioned that one year she just ignored the fact that it was flooding for a month. And so because she did that, we'd lived there for 4 years at that point, and we'd had the same upstairs neighbors from week 2. But because she ignored for a month that it was flooded, they moved out. And they were like, no, fuck this. Like, we're done. And new people moved in almost right away. And after being there for, I think it was 2 days, they found bed bugs. We're not sure where they came from. We're pretty sure we didn't have them. Maybe they brought them with them somehow when they were moving, but they didn't have them before either. But anyways, they found bed bugs, and those things are horrific. And so they called the landlord, and they basically moved out immediately. But we had to have our stuff fumigated. And if you're having your place cleaned for bed bugs, it essentially means you have to examine and pack up everything. Your furniture stays in, but like books, stuff, all of that has to be examined and packed away somewhere where you're sure that the bed bugs aren't. And anything that's made out of fabric has to be washed on high heat and dried on high heat. And it's just it's a massive nightmare, especially if your laundry room is overflowing and flooding. So we had to do that literally overnight. And while this was happening, was in the middle of, I was having issues with stuff at school, and I had just made the decision to leave university and start working at a school up in Red Deer. That's why I was up there. And so I was in Red Deer all week. Our landlord called us about this with this information, like, your place is getting fumigated on Saturday. So I got back Friday night, and we had to examine and pack everything that night, and we did not sleep. Our parents came and helped us, but like, we have a lot of books. You can see even behind me, that's just a tiny portion of books that we have.
What year was this?
A nightmare. What year was it? 2018.
Why didn't you call me?
March
Sounds
of
like a
2018.
mess of pain in the ass.
Honestly, we didn't think of it.
Fuck,
We didn't spend that much time with you at the time, really. Jan did, but I didn't.
Oh man, I wish you told me. I was here too, like I was nearby. I would have totally
Yeah,
came.
we didn't know that you lived that close. I wish we had.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
I'm
Right?
sorry
We
to hear all
should've told you.
that. That sucks.
But, oh, it was horrible. It was just awful. And we literally, we did not sleep that night. So we basically, because I was immediately going to Red Deer starting the next week to work at the school, I was going to be staying with Jan's parents during the weeks and then coming back to our house on the weekends. But basically, I had this nightmare of having to try to pack to move temporarily to his parents' house while also trying to go through all of this stuff. So I was just throwing things into different piles and trying to sort them and wash them. And oh, it was terrible. But after that was done,
just tossing stuff out at a certain point. They're like, fuck that, fuck that, fuck
Yeah,
that,
seriously.
fuck that.
pretty much okay, I need clothes. I need this, maybe?
Fair enough, yeah.
Oh.
Certain things that I wouldn't even
That
waste
would
too much time.
that would
Yeah.
destroy me.
It was awful.
Sounds awful.
And it was in the middle of something that was already so awful too. So we did that, and then the next week we just told the landlord no, we're moving out, we're sick of this. And we asked her if we could give her it was 25 days notice instead of 30. And she was like, no, you can't, you have to go until the end of whatever month instead of the 15th. And we were like, okay, whatever. So
Dude. Oh, I'm even more mad you didn't talk to me. Fuck, I would have just taken the phone right out of your hand and been like, hello, I am their representation. And no, you'll be dealing with me. No, this is not happening that way. No, this is how it's happening. This is how it's happening.
quite frankly, we were too tired and too stressed to deal with it.
That makes me even more sad.
But we didn't have a place to move to, and we didn't know where we were moving to. At the time, I wasn't sure what I was going to do in the fall. I knew that I was going to keep working at that school until the end of the year, until the end of June.
Mm-hmm.
But I had no clue if I was going to keep working there in the fall or what. So we were like, we don't know what to do. So we packed all of our stuff and put it in a storage locker. And Jan moved into his aunt's house, and I moved into his parents' house. And on the weekends, I would come back down to his aunt's house, and it was like an hour and a half drive.
I remember this
But
now. Yeah.
we did that for months and months, from March until the end of June,
Yeah, that's
when we finally found a place up in Red Deer.
Man, you guys been
And
through a lot. Good for
horrifying!
you.
It was so bad.
Good for you though. Made it
Oh
through.
yeah,
Man, good thing moving is a bitch. Hence the title.
yeah.
It really is.
Our move here was so
Strange
nice
too.
compared to the most stressful thing was packing my grandma's china, and I could deal with that.
Yeah, I do. All my super valuable things are in a safe, so I just don't let the safe. Like I just. That's how I keep them. I don't have china, so I don't have to worry about breaking it.
I am going to have so much china someday because I am the only young female in my family.
However, I think
Perfect thing to sell and make lots of money off of.
I think everyone except Andrew has been to my place at least once. That big painting that I have, that Chinese painting,
Yeah.
that is actually worth quite a bit, and that is something that I'm very careful with.
I believe it.
That's understandable, yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, no, I usually it's more sentimental value, really. Yeah, I guess my guitar is worth a bit, but yeah, no.
Yeah,
Pretty much the only thing I wouldn't want to lose is my electronics for the most part. Everything else is like, whatever.
This
About it
point,
again.
when you get robbed, when my buddy
I think
robbed me of
these
everything,
are 150 years old.
electronics becomes a second issue. Like, I'm glad I have my electronics over time back, but I mean, like,
That's fair. I just, in the way of like, say my computer, I have enough fun and some things that pop up or different things that go with it.
I'll tell you
But
what,
it's the only other thing I do with my spare time.
I think we can all agree the worst thing about moving, and obviously Andrew got ahead of this problem, so kudos to you, is not having internet.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure to go to have internet for that reason.
That is the worst, and the wait. I hear from our
I forced
the
my
worst.
to play video games. The old games I used to play didn't have internet for them, but I had electricity.
it's more like I hear from our but now, like today, like when you move into a place and you call the internet company, you tell them what day you're moving in, and you're waiting for them, and they're like, oh yeah, well no, we can't, so you're gonna have to wait like another 6 days for internet, and you're like, can I just go to the store and pick up the box? Oh yeah, but we still have to bring in a technician to turn it on.
Be on
So
Switch.
when we moved this year back here from Red Deer, Jan was super on top of that, and it was actually really funny. He had everything set up so the day we moved in, our internet would be hooked up here, and we just had to bring like our box with us.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, we were actually the night before we moved, we were playing D&D with you guys, and our internet shut off in the middle of it because at midnight it shut off at the place we were at, and we were like, oh no, we were in the middle of something. That might have been the night that Caden stabbed you in the back, actually.
I think it was.
That makes a lot of sense.
I think
But I don't. I
It's your
can't.
Wi-Fi.
It's a good thing we don't talk to Caden anymore, and we just talk to this beautiful grease goblin down here.
Glorious character that was Sean.
Goddamn backstabber that Caden was.
He was such a great character.
He's such a backstabber.
at least
I
I
had such a
shot him in the
fearful for him.
face, not in the back.
Anyway, but yeah. No, well, aren't you guys lucky setting up the internet and having internet? I guess I moved here in this place. I have now had internet. No. So I moved. That's actually funny. When I was gonna move into here, there was internet, but when I moved in, after 2 weeks, the internet just shut off because the guy who there was just this thing with TELUS, and they fucked us. So we had no internet, and so I had to get Shaw. And so for a whole month in this place, I had no internet, and it drove me nuts. I didn't realize how much I needed internet until like I was just without it. Like I was always on my phone. I had never used my phone so much, and I just killed my data. Absolutely
That's why I used it. That's
murdered
my
my
old
data.
still play lots of games on my old PS3 without the internet.
I mean, I did that too, but like, I still
I have
murdered
so
my
many
phone.
PS3 games I haven't fucking played. Half for that reason.
Isn't that sounds
Also
like
just
a
don't have
you
time.
problem? Yes, Jeremy, that is correct.
When I moved out of the place,
What?
Oh, I just hear we can hear Chris in the background.
Yeah.
when I moved out of the place with the Black Widows in the walls, we had to hire movers. So
Okay.
we had everything ready. We started bringing it out. It was mid-November, so snow all on the ground. I went ahead to the apartment to get everything like organized so we could deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Movers didn't show up for 4 hours after they said they would be there for 12.
Sounds
And-
about right.
For whatever reason, they decided to put all the heavy stuff in the back instead of in the front. So they took all the little things out and then made a maze in the apartment. Because in the apartment we moved into, you had to book the elevator. So we had the elevator booked for a certain time. And as soon as they got there, they were like, yeah, we're just going to eat lunch for a
Oh.
My God, they sound like
no.
sound
we
like
have
they had a good
bookings.
night the night before. That's funny.
And then they ended up taking a grand total of like 7 hours to deal with everything. And if we had done it ourselves, it would have taken maybe 3.
Just give me the truck and let me do it myself.
Yeah, right.
So we were stressed. I hadn't eaten all day because I was waiting for everything to get there. And
Understandable.
by the end of it, I actually yelled at them twice.
You yelled?
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't seem like a fun type.
It
Wow.
takes a lot.
I've seen one time where you've gotten a little heated.
Damn.
It takes a lot to get me to yell.
Did you take off the
That's fair.
sunglasses when you did it? Did you pull the whole?
Oh, I called. We got a full refund, and they were both fired.
What? That's, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so never
It
mind.
worked out
That
because
worked out really well.
they would have charged us like almost $1,000 in the move when they were only supposed to be at most
I hate
like
her.
100.
That's insane.
Wow.
Since I've gotten
Yeah.
here, I haven't had much to eat other than McDonald's, to be honest.
Sounds like the dinner of champions.
Breakfast. The Movers Breakfast Champions.
Yeah.
Get that McGriddle. Mmm.
Senior tickets.
Yeah, it wasn't a fun move.
Well, it looks
I
like
also
Yeah, I bet.
yeah. Well, it looks like we're getting close to that time, that magical time. Anyone else want to say anything? Final words of the day. Maybe spin the wheel of morality. Turn.
Well, Master Winchester.
Ah, yes. Well, yeah, no.
Jeremy, tell us when you're moving because we will help you.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's what I've got.
But we won't do that on stream because that seems like a
That's
bad
exactly.
idea.
Honestly,
Yeah, no,
that's
yeah.
That seems like a bad idea. That
use
being
that.
said,
Don't do that. Wait till John's done the stream. and then
oh,
do that.
thank you, Sarah,
No,
for
tell
that
us right
segue.
now so that we can help you.
And
then,
I would
Get
like-
everyone to help you.
I would like to thank our viewers for watching. I'm, as always, sorry you had nothing better to do, but I'm so thankful you spent it with us. We are your villains. I am C4. Beside me, Sarah Vike. Further down is Insanieac. Below me is the Great Grease Goblin. And always the mystery, Sir Jeremy. And this is what we do. We talk because, we like to talk. And yeah, if you like this, you could follow us. That'd be cool. You don't have to, but it'd be cool. You can also check us out on YouTube's too. It takes how much hard work that is. It sucks. It really sucks all that editing. And at this point, I should have put it on the end screen. There we go. And as always, follow Insanieac, follow us, and this is where we start plugging other channels. So, Spiffing Brit, if you've never been there, he's done some great videos so far. He's actually kind of blown up. Come on, people, other channels. There's
Captain
internet.
Sauce.
Sorry, what was that?
All the free kit.
Captain Sauce.
Captain Sauce. There's Kit Falbo. There's internet
Yeah,
comment etiquette. Great channel. You should go follow that. Go check that out.
Free kit, the local streamer that I stream with sometimes. You gotta check him out.
There's got to be more. Come on. If
There's
you
Caleb Hiles on YouTube. He does music and stuff.
Chill
Check
Cow.
out the,
Chilled
Woodley
Cow for
remaster.
music.
Jonathan Young as well also does music.
release.
If you're looking for music and you like space, listen to Starset. Space rock. Really.
Or Helion Prime. If you want to listen to some super sweet space music, Helion Prime.
Ooh.
I think I've jacked off. You're interested in Dragon Age theories or D&Ds.
And there's also like Fudge Muppet for like Skyrim and Witcher 3 lore, and Nobble for Warcraft lore. It's cool. Also, just because I want to throw it out there,
For Skyrim lore, you want ESO Online.
ESO Online is okay. I like Fudge Muppet better, just personally. But if you like magic, and magic is a cool thing, go check out Tolarian Community College. Everyone loves the professor.
Sure, check out Peach
Game or
Drink.
actual
New
miniature?
updated version of Ed, Edd and Eddy if you're big fans of that show.
Yeah, They're
That's
all
something I
dead.
enjoy. You shut your mouth.
Who said we care about what you enjoy?
I'm plugging the people.
Blue
You will enjoy
Productions.
the people's being plugged.
Hey,
Check them out.
hey, calm
You
down.
will
You're
subscribe. You will follow them.
you're
Do the things.
John, do you know that you're invisible?
Doing-
www.justlikeness.com.
Yes.